Servus Männer, it's Red Pill Germany again. As you might have heard, right now there is the G7 summit in Bavaria, Germany, in the castle Elmau. That is the venue where already this meeting took place in 2015, I think. There is this, or there was this, iconic photograph of President or then President Obama and Angela Merkel discussing on this bench, or I think Obama was seated on the bench, Merkel was standing in front of him, and the Alps in the background or something like that. So yeah, it's a very picturesque venue. It is in the Bavarian Alps. It is secluded, high up there, and this is, I guess, the point, so that there are no protesters near there, and that they can, of course, have their luxurious meeting, these heads of state, and on the taxpayers' expense as always. But I have heard this time that there were fewer protesters than last time, and also it is organized in a way that they can't get anywhere near the venue. Also journalists, I think, they don't get anywhere near there. They're far away. All right. So, what have I heard so far? What kind of news we're getting out of from this meeting? Um, First of all, what I noticed is that it seems like half of the news are about Ukraine or Russia in some way. So, for example, they want to support Ukraine as long as it takes, and also there were once again, I mean, there is always a video conference with President Zelensky being on some video screen talking to the people. I mean, it seems like he has 10 hours of video conferences every day. And whenever there is a meeting, whenever there is a conference, whenever something is going on in the world, of course, there is a video call with President Zelensky. And he said the usual, he needs more stuff, gimme, 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 and you're not doing enough. And then the answer is, oh, we will do more, we will do more. Yeah, so of course there will be new sanctions against Russia. That's what they said. They want to put more people on some kind of sanction list, more institutions. And I also heard, and that is interesting, that they want to ban Russian gold exports. As you might know, gold is important for central banks, and Russia has a very vast supply of gold. They were saving a lot. They were building up their gold stock, so to speak. And also, and that I didn't know that before actually, 10% of the gold that is being produced per year, or of the international gold production comes from Russia. You might know that there is some sort of I don't know if they call it refinery, but basically where the gold is really being minted then into bars and stuff like that. And I think 70% or something is taking place in Switzerland. So as you might know, Switzerland has a long history of how should I say that? How should I put that delicately now as a German? They have a lot of experience in dealing with foreign gold. Let me put it this way: historically, So they dealt with our gold, and of course they also deal with Russian gold. But now there should be that should be added to the sanction list as another item. So no more gold can get out from Russia. Of course, as always with these sanctions, this is only affecting these Western countries, or this handful of states that they call the international community. Of course, I think except for South Africa, probably no African country is in on that. China doesn't care. The BRIC states, of course, don't care. India, Brazil, and so on. All these developing countries or second world countries, they don't care about that. Yeah, so that means Russia. It doesn't mean that they cannot get. That they cannot export their gold anymore. Of course not. They will just export it then to other countries. I think India and China and all these other countries, they will be more than happy to trade with Russia as always. It's the same with oil. It's the same with gas. It just goes elsewhere. That's all it is. Yeah, but I don't know what this will do now to gold prices in the Western world, or if there will be different gold prices then, because how do you check? I mean, how do you certify if that gold had its origin in Russia? That's the beauty about gold. You can melt it and then make new coins and bars. And I think the same way as they do it with oil, where they just mix oil from different origins, and then they it's hard to find out the origin then, and they can then go around these sanctions, of course. And I think with with gold, it is especially easy because you can just export it to another country and then mix it with other gold and then export it to a third country, and then you probably don't know, or you can't certify anymore if it really comes from Russia or from that other country. So that might be a paper tiger, this new idea to ban Russia from exporting its gold. Okay, I just found this interesting because there must be a reason why Russia built up this huge gold vault, and probably they want to counteract the ability of Russia to keep on funding their special operations in Eastern Europe. All right. What else is there to say? More sanctions, more money for Ukraine. Of course, they also talked about rebuilding Ukraine again. When all is done there. Zelensky underlined again that a prolonged conflict is not in the interest of the Ukrainian people. Surprise, surprise, surprise. Another nice flower. So this is pretty much the news that I've heard. Also, another really, once again, I'm not sure, it sounds big. So, big news item was that you probably know about the Chinese Silk Road that they want to implement, or that they are already implementing. That means infrastructure projects all around the world with Africa and so on. So they want to have a global trade network, Chinese infrastructure. A lot of people in the West are saying that these countries that make these deals with China, that they end up getting into financial problems, that they go into debt over these infrastructure investments, and that it's bad for these countries. And the G7 now said that they want to have basically, their answer to this would be that they have their own global infrastructure initiative with, the figure I read was $600 billion, so a little more than half a trillion, and that should come from the private and public sector, but and from these countries, from these G7 countries. So I don't know which country will pay what fraction of those 600 billions, and how this will be invested, what kind of how should I say that? What kind of rules for these investments will be put in place, and if it is so from what I could tell, there was basically no difference to generic aid. I really don't know how this should be any different from us paying for these countries once again, in this way or another. And the leaders of the G7 summit, they said that, you shouldn't look at this as an aid package for the developing countries. It is really an investment for our countries, and it will pay dividends. Our people will profit from that. But I'm really skeptical. I don't believe that, because nothing we ever did with these countries was ultimately like an investment. It was always some kind of aid program for these countries, and I didn't see anything ever coming back to our countries or that profited our people. No. So I'm really skeptical, and it comes a bit suddenly. I've never heard about that before, really, and it seems like one of these things where they needed a headline. So something with China and something investment and something global, and yeah, uh, I really don't buy it. All right. So, if something else that is interesting comes out of the G7 summit, maybe I will let you know about it, or maybe I will give you my perspective on that. Until then, take care. Servus, Kameraden.